Welcome back to Dallas. It's time for another edition of Let's Play WCCW 1983. We are back in the territories. We are back for World Class Championship Wrestling and our road to the March edition of Star Wars, where we will see finally a meeting of the minds between the Von Erichs and the Freebirds, as the North American title will be defended, with David defending it against one Freebird member, and then Kerry and Kevin will team up against the other two leftover Freebird members in a tag team match. I just don't know if it is going to be for the WCCW tag team titles or not. So you'll have to wait and see about that yet. You'll have to wait and see about that. Likely by the next pay-per-view, or very soon we'll find out what's going on. But what I will tell you is this, that as you can tell, the feud continues between Jose Lothario, El Hijo de Tejas, and Gary Hart. And that is because, once again, after we have not seen Del Tejas since he beat Super Olympia at the pay-per-view, and with that being the case, we need to see, this is the first time we're seeing him, and this is the first time we're hearing from Lothario and Del Tejas about what their future holds in their feud against Gary Hart. Because now, not only will Gary Hart have his hands full with Del Tejas, but he also has his hands full with Bruiser Brody, as Brody and Dick Murdoch's feud continues this month at Star Wars. But either way, let's jump into this episode of World Class Wrestling, as it kicks off with the Samoan defeating Brian Adias. And I just wanted to throw out this for the match, that the reason why the match is 6 minutes instead of, 3 minutes or a minute or 50 seconds is because I want to start giving certain jobbers more offense. Not where it's a jobber match where, the guys get squashed in under a minute. I want to give them more offense, to give more competitive matches and less squash matches. So that's why I'm doing it, and I wanted to give it against somebody like the Samoan, who's a little, so, not, I'm not saying he's bad, he isn't bad, he got a 44 in-ring performance, that's not bad. It's more that I'm saying that, simple. He isn't as fearsome as Missing Link. You know what I mean? So that's why I that's why I did this little experiment with Brian Adias and the Samoan, and not Brian Adias and the Missing Link. But now we move forward, and Mark Lawrence is at the interview position with Kerry, Kevin, and David Von Erich as they talk about what's going to happen not just later tonight when they're in action against the Thunderfoots and Johnny Mantell, the Thunderfoots and Johnny Mantell, but at Star Wars in 2 weeks, when they finally, not collectively, but finally, they get their hands on the fabulous Freebirds in the middle of the ring for the first time. And I have Kevin say, Freebirds, the only thing that will be better than our matches in 2 weeks will be when all three of us face all three of you for the first time in the ring together. Because when that happens, Freebirds, we'll show you just how good Texas can be. And now we move forward as, for the first time in quite a while, we see Wendell Cooley come into the ring, or come down to the ring, and he is facing the fearsome man from not from Stone Mountain, Georgia, from Jersey City, New Jersey. That is King Kong Bundy. And Bundy, I'm not gonna, once again, has a competitive match with Wendell Cooley, because I don't want to have certain people on the roster lose credibility, because also it isn't going to be a revolving door anymore where new people are going to keep coming in. I want to get a stable set roster so the fans know these guys are going to be here. These guys are going to be here. These guys are who I can cheer for. This guy's a face. This guy's a heel. This guy's a good guy. This guy's a bad guy. I cheer for him. I boo for him. And it's not going to be like where 1 week they see Bundy and Cooley and then they never see them again. That's not how it's going to be, because that's not a stable roster and that's not a good way to run a company. So, but either way, both these guys are going to stay here, and a solid win for King Kong Bundy. And now we move forward as El Hijo de Tejas faces another guy who is very rarely seen, partially because my good friends in Connecticut stole Scott Irwin. Yes, they didn't steal both the Irwins, they just stole Scott. Go figure. But either way, El Hijo de Tejas gets the victory over Bill Irwin, and the more important thing happens right after the match, because they join Mark Lawrence at the interview position, and Jose Lothario and El Hijo de Tejas talk about what happened at the last big event when Del Tejas sent Gary Hart's hired gun, Super Olympia, packing back to Mid-South. And he wants to know what's next, because he ain't done with Gary Hart's army. And I'm just going to say that because I'd give them complete control of the segment. Why? Because I trust Jose Lothario. I trust El Hijo de Tejas. And I know that technically I'm Gary Hart. So as the booker, I'm going to be working with them for the promo anyway, and exploiting which best highlights those guys involved. And also, the other reason why I'm going to give them complete control is because this is the first time I'm also going to have El Hijo de Tejas talk along with Jose Lothario, because up until today, Del Tejas has not said a word, and it's only been Jose Lothario talking for Del Tejas. But now, both guys are going to be talking, because eventually Lothario's not going to be with El Hijo de Tejas, so we're going to need a little bit of help. I mean, I'm doing this to make sure Del Tejas can talk for himself too. And now we move to the main event, where David, Kevin, Kerry team up in their first competitive six-man tag. Well, their second. For David and Kerry, it's their second competitive match, because they competed with Chris Adams at the pay-per-view against the Freebirds, but collectively it's their first, partially because Thunderfoot 3 is a main eventer. Or an upper mid-carder, I forget. He's one of the two. Yes, Johnny Mantell and Thunderfoot won and Thunderfoot 2 are lower mid-carders, but, you know, you have 3 main eventers, or 4, well, I'm not sure what Thunderfoot 3 is. 3 main eventers and an upper mid-carder, let's just say. Why not give them a little bit of time? It's not like I gave them 20 minutes, I gave them 14 minutes. So, yeah. And plus, Thunderfoot 3 did better than Kevin as far as in-ring performance is concerned. So, you know, it's like, that just proves my point, as does this rating of a 68 final rating for the match, that I was right giving them a little extra time. Now let's see what the show got. The show got a 67 final rating and increased our popularity in 9 regions. I mean, at first I was a little iffy on the direction I was going, as far as not just with the Freebirds and the Von Erichs, but also with Del Tejas against Gary Hart, Chris Adams, Iceman Parsons, you know, a lot of the other heels not named Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, or Buddy Roberts. You know, I was a little iffy on the direction for those, but, you know, things are falling into place, per se. Little by little, things are falling into place, which is great. So, with that being the case, let me know down in the comment section below who you'd like to see stay in World Class. Who you'd like to see stay in World Class of the guys you remember from the past and the guys you've seen here in this. And also, if you'd like to see any new faces come to World Class Championship Wrestling, also let me know down in the comment section. And as always, feedback is more than welcomed and appreciated. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time. Later.